Alright, we're going to check out this Presidio, if I'm saying that correctly, LPVO scope by Sightmark today. This is the first Sightmark scope I've tried, so I'm excited to do that because I haven't tried their scopes yet. Previously reviewed one of their little, I wouldn't call it a red dot, it's some sort of hybrid, but that thing was pretty sweet, so I'm hoping their scopes are just as good. 1-6 by 24. There's pretty much all the stats you're going to want to know right there. Pause and read if you like. Do have a illuminated red center dot reticle, so you can use this as a red dot for quick acquisition, close range, low light conditions, what have you. And I thought it'd be neat to try something different with this one. I've tested so many LPVO scopes with the tuned 223-556 BDC reticle, but that really only does you any good if you're shooting 223-556 or 308 because it has a similar trajectory. So I thought for this one we'd go with something new. So the reticle on this is similar to a duplex reticle, but of course with that little red dot in the center there. So for close quarters and quick acquisition, you can just use it like a red dot. But for anyone else putting this up on something that's not chambered in 223-556 or 308, maybe you want something like this because those BDC marks are not going to line up for you, like 300 black, 6.5 Grendel, even a 22 LR. And while the BDC marks would line up for something like that eventually at some point, at odd distances like 167 yards and 209 yards, etc., if you're never shooting past 200 or 300 yards, you don't really get to utilize those anyways. A lifetime warranty. So let's see what's inside here. There is your user's manual. And there's the scope, and then no doubt there's going to be a screen wipe, yep, and the tool that we need, and there's our detachable throw lever, so you can use it or not use it, personal preference. Alright, there she is there. Take a look in a sec, but here is more of the technical specifications, so you can pause and read that as well if you would like. But there she is. Under your rear flip up cap here, you do have an adjustable diopter. You see I put my throw lever on there. Seems fairly easy to move. I'm just trying to do this all one-handed on a wobbly box. One thing I noticed, these caps, they're made out of HDPE. If I can get the light on it right, you should be able to see it flexing. So you see how it's flexing there? So that's great because I've broken these before on some cheaper scopes. You flip them up and they just snap off because the plastic's brittle, but this appears to be made out of HDPE plastic, which is a lot more robust, and there's none of that tang or whatever when you flip them up. So these, you shouldn't have any problem with them breaking on you there, as long as you don't abuse them, obviously. There's our illumination dial, nicely numbered turrets. Okay, she did come with the battery. It's taped to another bag in there, but that's what the little sticker there letting you know you still need to put your battery in there. I'll peel that off later. First impressions, this thing is crystal clear, real nice glass in this. As you can see, it's full sun, daytime, and I had no problem seeing that little red dot down there. And that target there is probably about 20 yards away in the middle. And I already cranked it up full magnification, and even that close range, 20 yards there, it still remained perfectly clear. It wasn't fuzzy or blurry or anything. So it's looking real promising so far. But obviously we're down here at the pistol bay, so we'll transfer down to the rifle bay or get her mounted up, try her out. Stay tuned to the end-ish of the video. I'll get some images through the reticle for you guys so you can see what it looks like there. We'll 0 at 100 or whatever, shoot a group, and then reach out further range, at least 300 yards today. There she is all mounted up. Looks pretty good up on there, I think. So this is just a BCA 16-inch upper on an Anderson lower. It's a side charger, as you can see there. Pretty good looking scope. So we'll start out down here at 100 yards, get her zeroed. And then down here, got my 16-inch gong set up at 300 yards. And then I got a 20-inch there at 400. So here's our first shot at 50 yards just to see where it's at, see how I need to adjust it before I reach down to 100. Got a, I think this is a dirty piece of clay pigeon or something here. Take a shot at that, see where we impact. So do some adjustments on the scope here, and I just wanted you guys to be able to hear the clicks. Very well numbered there. And you may notice it just seems kind of like streamlined move. It feels rather mushy, but it's by design, so it's not like it's mush in between each click. It's just pretty much the whole dial is just like a heavy mushy drag. It does stop on each click though, so there's no like in between, like did I get it on that notch or not. It does set on each one, but yeah, just overall it's kind of like a heavy mushy drag, which again has got to be by design, and not necessarily my favorite design, but it doesn't really bother me because it still works. As you can see there, we got our clay. It was not a direct hit, but we're ready to move down to 100 yards here. Now I tried recording these shots on the target down there, but something with the lighting this day, you just really couldn't see it at all. So instead I transitioned to this piece of clay over here at 100 yards. I'd got it zeroed in on the paper, but like I said, you guys couldn't really see it. Alright, so here we go down at 300 yards, and I was not going for ultimate precision or anything like that, just kind of ripping them off down here. But just to highlight, again, without this being a BDC LPVO, you just got the center dot. If you know your holdover and your bullet trajectory and all that, you don't really need the BDC marks. So I think this cartridge out of the barrel length, again, we're shooting 223, 5.56, 62 grain ammo, hand loads. With 100 yards zero, my drop down here at 300 yards should be about a 14-inch drop. So aim according to that, and you should have no problem hitting vitals. Again, just ripping them off here, but if you look at the bottom left of your screen, we do have some wind to the right, which will blow that little 22 cal off to the right down here at 300. And that's why they're all off to the right edge of the plate there down here. Same thing here, zoomed out. If you listen carefully, you should be able to hear the impacts. Alright, now we're going to reach out here to 400 yards. Okay, so this is thicker steel down here, plus it's not hanging, it's just leaned up against some debris on that dirt pile there. So all you're going to hear is a little tink, tink every time it hits, but thankfully there's a good visual every time we get an impact down here, so it'll be pretty easy for you guys to see. Wind seemed to calm down some, so I was mainly just aiming center, albeit over top. We got about double the drop from 300 yards down to 400 there. With 100 yards zero, should be about 33 inches low. And this was my first try, and just aiming roughly 33 inches above the center of the target here. You see the wind really kicked up there after that second shot. They were both impacts. Should have been able to see and hear them. But I remembered my microphone had like a zoom feature, so I'm using that here, so if it sounds different, louder, that's why. It's supposed to zoom in the sound towards where you're aiming it, so hopefully you can hear these a little better. Okay, now let me show you that reticle. Again, as always, keep in mind it looks far better in person. You're not going to see any of this blurring around the edge. It looks more sharp, crisp, and clear in person. And for the illumination, they always look dull through the camera. They're always more vibrant and bright in person. That said, this is 100 yards down here. Everything's also looking kind of small through the camera here. Everything does appear a little bit, I don't know, larger, closer, more like it does in real life. But this is the 100-yard target down here. See that nice, fine, crisp center dot there? And that is with it unilluminated. And then same target, obviously, 100 yards, minimum 1x magnification, which is no magnification. This time with it illuminated, again, it's much more vibrant, bright in person. But even in the full sun there against that lit grass, you can still see it in these not so great camera images, no problem. So in person, it's plenty well lit enough, even down on 1x magnification there for full sunlight use. And the 1x magnification was true to magnification for me, true 1x. And then here is 6x magnification, which is obviously as high as it goes because it's a 1-6 LPVO. So this is 6x magnification down there at 100 yards and with it illuminated. And then here's that 20-inch steel plate down here at 400 yards. Again, obviously 6x magnification. And once again, you can see that center dot is illuminated, which for the last time, more bright in person than what it appears here. And again, any blurring around the edges or anything like that, that's just the camera and me not getting it perfectly centered for this image. It was super clear, crisp glass in person. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing an LPVO that was a little different than what I usually feature. Like I said, typically run BDC reticles, which I do like for 223, 556. But like I said, guys running 300 black, 6.5 Grendel, 22 long rifle, 17 HMR, whatever. Then they want a little LPVO like this. Those BDC marks, they don't work for you. If you just want a simplified reticle, let alone with a little illuminated dot in the center, well, here you go. And that's why I requested this one, because I thought it'd be cool to do something different. Like I said, if you only shoot 100, 200 yards, you're never going to need those BDC marks anyways, unless you're shooting maybe 22 long rifle, because obviously that drops like a tank. And even at that, just aim higher if you know your bullet trajectory. And that's just how I prefer to do it. Kentucky windage, aim over the target and let the bullet drop down to the target. Alternatively, obviously, you can pop your scope caps off and give it the appropriate amount of clicks up so that you just aim at bullseye at whatever distance and hit bullseye without having to aim over the target. And those turrets were resettable, re-zeroable, so you can set it to 0 after you get it sighted in for, say, 100 yards like I did, if that's what you want. And then if you know how many MOA you need up for a 300 or 400 yard shot with whatever caliber, you can just automatically click it up to that number. Then when you're done, just bring it back down to 0 and you'll be re-zeroed for 100 yards just like that. So overall, pretty nice little 1-6. Some things I really liked about it, definitely those bendable HDPE scope caps. I don't think those are ever going to break as long as you don't abuse them. I hit on that earlier in the video. I really like those. Again, absolutely crystal clear glass, even with it full magnification, close range. I hit on that earlier in the video. Nice, fine, crisp center dot, even with the illumination, still very fine and crisp. I mean, I feel like I could hit a groundhog at 400 yards, no problem with that nice, fine little center dot there. Resettable, re-zeroable turrets, as we just covered. And the absolute best part, lifetime warranty. So again, this guy will be linked under the video if you want to check it out. Along with everything else I use in my videos, like the steel targets, the paper target stand, and the paper targets I use, shooting bags, safety glasses, earmuffs, rangefinder, and way more. All that's under the video. For things I cannot link to on here, check out the campsite page, which is linked under the video. For more scope reviews, check out the parts, accessories, and optics playlist on the channel. Thanks for stopping by, checking this one out. I really appreciate it. And I hope to catch you on the next one.